It's hard to believe, but the once controversial Duchess of York has managed to completely redefine herself in the public eye. From tabloid fodder and royal scandal to becoming a respected figure in philanthropy, writing, and global motherhood, Sarah Ferguson's transformation has been nothing short of remarkable. She's no longer just the other Duchess in the headlines. She's now a symbol of resilience, reinvention, and authenticity. But what has sparked the most buzz is how the world has watched her evolve, embrace her past while crafting a future that is entirely her own. Keep calm to witness her change. Maybe you don't know, Diana Spencer and Sarah Ferguson, though distant relatives, developed a close and lasting friendship during their teenage years. Despite their royal backgrounds, their bond grew genuine, built on shared experiences and mutual understanding. Diana, who had a natural ability to connect with others, often invited Ferguson to lavish parties and high society events, introducing her to the glittering world of royalty. Their relationship took a significant turn in 1985 when Princess Diana played a pivotal role in Ferguson's future with the royal family. Prince Andrew, who had recently faced several indiscretions that damaged his public image, was in need of a fresh, wholesome reputation. Diana, ever the thoughtful friend, suggested that Ferguson be invited to the royal ascot as a potential suitor for Prince Andrew. The plan was to match the vivacious, outgoing redhead with the prince in hopes of crafting a picture-perfect romance. Though Ferguson and Prince Andrew had known each other since childhood, this orchestrated encounter set the stage for what would become a whirlwind romance, as described in Vanity Fair. Diana's careful matchmaking worked, and soon Ferguson was regularly making public appearances alongside the royal family. During this time, she turned to Diana for advice and guidance, relying on her friend's expertise in navigating the royal spotlight. Princess Diana, ever supportive, lent Ferguson clothes and whispered encouraging words like, "Just keep smiling," before her first major public appearance. This phrase became a mantra for Ferguson, and she carried it with her through years of public scrutiny. Ferguson later reflected on this gesture in her autobiography, My Story, recalling how Diana's warmth and counsel made her feel confident and at ease in the often intimidating royal world. The courtship between Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew unfolded in a way that seemed to mirror many romantic tales, full of teasing, lighthearted flirtation, and an undeniable chemistry. According to Ferguson, their official reintroduction at the Royal Ascot in 1985, orchestrated by Princess Diana, marked the beginning of something deeper. At the event, Prince Andrew playfully teased Ferguson into breaking her strict diet by coaxing her into eating chocolate profiteroles, a dessert she had been determined to avoid. However, in a twist, after persuading her to indulge, Andrew refused to take a bite himself, claiming he didn't like them. This playful and mischievous interaction set the tone for their blossoming relationship, one filled with lighthearted banter and a growing connection. In an interview with Anthony Carfew, both Ferguson and Prince Andrew recounted the memorable moment when he proposed. The proposal took place during a private trip to Scotland, where, in a somewhat unconventional gesture, Andrew went down on both knees to ask for her hand in marriage. While he had anticipated a yes, he admitted to being slightly surprised when she agreed. Ferguson's response was playful and teasing. "When you wake up tomorrow, you can tell me it was all a huge joke," to which he whispered, "I haven't," followed by her teasing reply, "He hasn't yet." The couple's dynamic was full of fun, laughter, and an easygoing camaraderie as they both expressed that they were a great team and good friends, reinforcing the foundation of their relationship. On July 23, 1986, the eyes of the world were on Sarah Ferguson as she walked down the aisle to marry Prince Andrew. The Mirror reported that her wedding gown, designed by British designer Linka Sirach, was crafted from luxurious duchesse satin and fit her like a corset. The dress was an elegant blend of tradition and personal significance, featuring intricate embroidery of bees and thistles. symbols from the Ferguson family crest. The train of the gown was particularly notable, with the letters A and S delicately embroidered in silver beads, representing Sarah and Andrew. Despite the designer not being widely recognized at the time, the gown became an instant sensation, and its style was quickly replicated around the world. As Sarah entered St. George's Chapel for her wedding ceremony, she wore a large flower crown made of gardenias, which were Prince Andrew's favorite flower. This personal touch added an intimate and romantic element to her bridal look. However, as she left the church, she removed the flower crown and replaced it with a tiara, a gift from the royal family, marking her official transition into royalty. The tiara featured a stunning 5-carat diamond set atop delicate platinum scrollwork, symbolizing her new status as the Duchess of York. This tiara, now known as the York Tiara, became a cherished piece of jewelry that Ferguson would wear on numerous occasions, even after her divorce. In a later interview with Piers Morgan, Ferguson reflected on her wedding day, describing it as an extraordinary experience. She recalled, "Like every bride's wedding day, it's a special day, and you've got a beautiful dress on. But you're standing there with the man you love, and then there are people out there who are wishing you so well, and it's just extraordinary." The joy and significance of the day were not lost on her, as she recalled the overwhelming sense of love and support surrounding them. After their whirlwind wedding, Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew's honeymoon was far from what one might expect for a newlywed royal couple. Following just a brief 3-day private getaway aboard the Queen's royal yacht, the young couple was unexpectedly called back to London. They had to return to pick up the Queen and continue with a royal tour, joining Ferguson's new in-laws. In a 1996 interview with Oprah, Ferguson candidly admitted her surprise and disappointment with the accommodations they were given at Buckingham Palace. To her astonishment, the couple was assigned only 4 rooms, which she found small and dark. She described how they were only allowed to use 30-watt bulbs, casting the rooms in an eerie gloom. Ferguson went on to reflect on the stark difference between the royal life she had envisioned and the reality she was now facing. "You didn't marry the fairy tale. You married your man. You have to come to terms with reality, or their reality," she told Oprah, acknowledging that the life of a royal was far from the glamorous fairy tale portrayed in public. Ferguson revealed that she struggled to adapt to the rigid structure of royal life and, despite her best efforts, never truly felt comfortable in the role. The British tabloids were relentless, particularly focusing on her fluctuating weight and her fashion choices. She became the target of cruel headlines, including being dubbed the Duchess of Pork due to her weight fluctuations and a no-style zone for her perceived lack of fashion sense. In the interview, Ferguson opened up about the emotional toll of being in the public eye, revealing how difficult it was for her to reconcile her personal desires with the expectations placed on her as a member of the royal family. While she could have easily adhered to the royal protocols and never questioned the system, she admitted, "I was hungry for life, and this life made me lose myself." It became clear that the pressures of royal life, coupled with the harsh public scrutiny, were taking a significant emotional toll on her. At first, Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew seemed to be a perfect match, as their personalities complemented each other in the early days of their marriage. Prince Andrew, relieved to have a fun-loving and spirited wife by his side, appeared to be genuinely devoted to her. Sarah's lively, approachable nature seemed to fit seamlessly with the royal life. During their 1987 tour of Canada, she charmed members of the Commonwealth with her infectious enthusiasm and vibrant energy, quickly becoming a popular figure. The tour marked a high point in their early years together, showcasing Sarah as a fresh and relatable royal figure. However, a few years later, cracks began to show in the marriage, and their public image started to suffer. During a return visit to Canada, it became apparent that the Duke and Duchess were struggling to maintain the same level of public adoration. According to Maclean's, the Queen was disappointed by the couple's lackluster attention to royal duties. Prince Andrew often focused on his naval commitments, while Ferguson made fewer public appearances, leading to speculation about their commitment to royal responsibilities. The couple's efforts to regain their popularity included more public engagements, but it seemed no matter what they did, they couldn't escape criticism. Ferguson was frequently criticized for her decisions, such as when she went on a public tour with Prince Andrew while leaving their daughter Beatrice behind. Her every move seemed scrutinized, and despite her efforts to charm the public, she faced constant negative press. Over time, however, Ferguson grew increasingly indifferent to the public's opinion. She became more focused on what made her happy, rather than trying to meet the expectations of the press or the royal family. As she later said, "My clothes and what I look like, really, that is entirely up to me because, quite frankly, Andrew likes it, and I like it, and if no one else does, well, that's their problem." This declaration reflected her growing resistance to conforming to royal norms and the intense scrutiny she faced, marking a shift in her approach to life as a royal. By 1992, the cracks in Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew's marriage began to surface. The birth of their second daughter, Eugenie, marked a significant turning point in their relationship, as the couple started spending much less time together. Prince Andrew's naval career took him away from home for extended periods, and according to Ferguson, they only saw each other for an average of 40 days per year. The physical and emotional distance between them grew, and their once vibrant relationship became strained. In 1992, a separation was publicly announced, and the situation was further complicated by scandalous photos of Ferguson, which were widely publicized. The photos, showing her with another man, were damaging to both her personal life and the royal family's image. This scandal, combined with their growing separation, eventually led to the end of their marriage. In 1996, Queen Elizabeth II granted Ferguson a divorce, a significant moment in royal history. Marie Claire reported that after the scandal broke, Queen Elizabeth met with Ferguson privately and, in a rare moment of vulnerability, asked her what she wanted. Ferguson's surprising response was friendship, a sentiment that reflected her desire to maintain a connection with the royal family despite the tumultuous circumstances. While there remained a certain level of coldness between Ferguson and the palace, the Queen continued to include her in annual invitations to her box at the Royal Ascot, a gesture that indicated a degree of ongoing respect, even if the relationship remained strained. Years later, Ferguson admitted that she did not want the divorce but felt that circumstances made it unavoidable. These circumstances were not only tied to the issues surrounding her fidelity, but also to the restrictions placed on her as a royal. At the time, royals were not allowed to pursue independent sources of income, and Ferguson later confessed that she wanted to earn money on her own, a desire that could have contributed to the breakdown of her marriage. This, coupled with the pressures of royal life, ultimately led to the end of their union, and Ferguson's quest for independence became a defining aspect of her post-divorce life. After her divorce from Prince Andrew in 1996, Sarah Ferguson moved to the United States, leaving behind the royal spotlight. Though she retained her title as the Duchess of York, her financial support from the palace significantly diminished. Instead of relying on her former royal status, Ferguson carved out a new career for herself as an author. In 1995, she published her first children's book, Budgie the Little Helicopter, which marked the beginning of a successful writing career. Over the years, Ferguson wrote at least 38 children's books, as well as several autobiographies, and even ventured into historical fiction. Her writing not only provided a new source of income, but also allowed her to reframe her public image. Beyond her books, Ferguson found additional financial support through endorsement deals. One of her most notable partnerships was with Weight Watchers, where she served as a spokesperson for 11 years. Her involvement with the company helped her build a brand around health and wellness, which resonated with her followers. These ventures allowed her to regain financial independence and step further away from the royal life that had once defined her. As she settled into her new life in America, Ferguson seemed to discover a deeper sense of purpose and identity. She often cited the wisdom of her grandmother, who taught her, "When you feel bad about yourself, go and give to others." This lesson became a guiding principle for Ferguson, motivating her to establish her own charitable initiatives. In the UK, she founded Children in Crisis, an organization aimed at helping disadvantaged children, and later extended her charitable work to the United States with Chances for Children. These endeavors became a significant part of her post-divorce life, reflecting her desire to make a meaningful impact and give back to those in need. Ferguson's journey from a royal divorcee to a philanthropist and author highlighted her resilience and determination to rebuild her life on her own terms. In a recent interview with People, via YouTube, Sarah Ferguson discussed how the pandemic and subsequent lockdowns profoundly impacted her life, helping her embrace who she truly is and deepening her enjoyment of life. During the challenging period of isolation, Ferguson revealed that she found a new sense of freedom, allowing her to explore and accept herself in ways she hadn't before. Reflecting on this personal transformation, she described how the lockdown helped her appreciate life on a grander scale, with an emphasis on living authentically. Ferguson's latest project, a historical fiction book based on a distant relative, also mirrored her journey of self-discovery. She explained that the book's main character was much like herself, a true redhead, full of spontaneity and a zest for life. Ferguson believed the character embodied the same spirit that she had, particularly reflected in her fiery red hair. This connection to the protagonist seemed to underscore her evolving sense of identity and how she now embraced her unique qualities with confidence. During the lockdown, Ferguson focused much of her energy on her YouTube channel, which she used as an outlet for creativity and connection. She read children's books and played the role of everybody's grandmummy, offering comfort and entertainment during a time when many were experiencing profound loneliness. Often appearing without makeup and in playful, humorous costumes, Ferguson allowed herself to be her unfiltered, authentic self, showing her fans a different side of her personality. Over the years, she has evolved from the freckle-faced country girl to a beautiful, witty duchess, fully embracing life with joy and gusto. It seems the pandemic served as a turning point, enabling Ferguson to tap into her true self and transform her public image once again. One of Sarah Ferguson's most meaningful and enduring charitable works is the character Little Red. Initially conceived in 1994 as the logo for her Chances for Children charity in the United States, Little Red quickly became much more than a symbol. The character was transformed into a rag doll, which was given to children who were supported by the charity. The doll's popularity grew rapidly, and Ferguson recognized an opportunity to expand on its potential. She went on to create a series of children's books based on Little Red, which not only helped raise awareness for her charity, but also became beloved by children and adults alike. However, the story of Little Red took an even more profound turn on September 11, 2001. At the time of the attacks, Ferguson was on her way to her charity's office in the World Trade Center. In a heartbreaking twist, her assistant was on his way to the office on the 101st floor when they received the devastating news about the terrorist attacks. Ferguson later recounted to CNN's Larry King that she had been in the studio for Good Morning America when the news broke. Amid the chaos of the attacks, rescue workers recovered a little red rag doll that had fallen all the way from her office's windowsill, symbolizing a poignant connection to the disaster. In response to this traumatic event, Ferguson decided to write a second Little Red book as a thank you note to the American people. In an emotional interview with CBS, she expressed her deep gratitude, saying, "You've given me back my life, you know? The American people have embraced me, just said, it's okay to be yourself." She acknowledged that when she first arrived in the U.S., she was a broken person, a sinking vessel, but that the warmth and acceptance of the American people helped her heal. Ferguson credited their support with giving her back her sense of self and the ability to be the mother her children needed. It was a profound transformation, and the love she felt from the American public was something she would always treasure. Over the next decade, Sarah Ferguson reinvented herself as a businesswoman, author, and outspoken advocate for royal life. She dedicated much of her time to charity, using her platform to raise awareness for causes she deeply cared about. One such cause came to the forefront during Fashion Week in 2004 when she modeled a stunning red dress for the Heart Truth campaign, helping to bring attention to heart disease in women. This event not only showcased her fashion sense, but also reaffirmed her commitment to charitable endeavors. Though Ferguson and Queen Elizabeth maintained a cordial relationship, their interactions were occasionally strained, and Ferguson was sometimes excluded from certain family events. For instance, Marie Claire reported that Prince Charles notably refused to include her in the private after-party following Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding, reflecting the ongoing complexities of her relationship with the royal family. Despite such occasional snubs, Ferguson's bond with Prince Andrew, her ex-husband, remained strong, and they enjoyed a remarkable reunification of sorts. Ferguson confirmed to the Financial Times that when she is in England, she resides with Prince Andrew at the Royal Lodge, though they live in separate wings. Despite their divorce, their connection remained intact, and Ferguson's relationship with Andrew was marked by mutual support. She acknowledged that they had a deep bond, noting, "We support each other like pillars of strength with the honor and integrity of truth." Even during difficult times, such as when she was caught selling an all-access story about Prince Andrew in 2010 to raise money, he stood by her. In return, she remained a constant source of support for him, even in the face of his own controversies. Their unwavering loyalty to each other exemplified the enduring strength of their relationship, despite the ups and downs of their personal lives. Throughout her life, Sarah Ferguson has continually practiced the art of gratitude, especially when reflecting on the challenges and controversies she has faced in the public eye. In a 2002 interview with CNN, Ferguson spoke candidly about the embarrassment she experienced as a result of the press scrutiny that surrounded her personal life. Despite the intense media backlash, she expressed a profound sense of thankfulness, viewing her struggles as valuable learning experiences. "Thank heavens I have been through that because I learned. I learned so much about myself," she said, acknowledging that her difficult moments ultimately led to personal growth. Ferguson explained that facing public criticism had humbled her, giving her the insight to understand her true purpose in life. "Basically, all I'm here to do is just keep on talking," she shared. She recognized that her platform, even amidst the challenges, allowed her to speak on important issues and raise awareness. She noted that many children around the world don't have the opportunities she does, such as speaking on prominent shows like Larry King Live, to shed light on critical topics. For Ferguson, this realization filled her with gratitude, as it underscored the importance of using her voice to bring attention to causes that truly mattered. Reflecting on her journey, Ferguson admitted that she had made many mistakes, which had attracted the media's curiosity. However, she saw those mistakes as part of her path to growth, leading her to a place of greater understanding and resilience. "The good thing is that I learned," she concluded, showing how her struggles ultimately became an opportunity for self-improvement and a deeper connection to the world around her. Through this lens, Ferguson's experiences became less about the negativity and more about how they shaped her into a stronger, more compassionate individual committed to making a difference in the world. Throughout her life, Sarah Ferguson has had to develop a philosophical mindset to cope with the relentless scrutiny she faced from the press. Constantly under a magnifying glass, her every move was analyzed and often criticized. In a candid interview with CNN's Larry King, Ferguson spoke about the mental toughness required by her position and reflected on her past mistakes and the public embarrassments she had endured. She admitted that, for years, she had lived in a darkness of self-doubt, often feeling as though she had done everything wrong. "I am very good at blaming myself for everything. Very good at beating myself up," she confessed, acknowledging her tendency to internalize her failures and take personal responsibility for them. Despite these struggles, Ferguson learned to confront her demons head-on and developed resilience. She explained that, rather than letting her mistakes define her, she would make a conscious decision to move forward each day with renewed determination. "Okay, I made a mistake yesterday, but I'm going to give today a very good shot," she said. This attitude of self-forgiveness and perseverance became her coping mechanism, as she focused on learning from her past and striving to do better. By setting personal boundaries and aiming to make a positive impact, she found a way to keep going, no matter the obstacles. However, Ferguson also acknowledged that she had faced moments when her coping mechanisms were less than healthy. In these times of stress and emotional turbulence, she admitted to turning to the cookie jar as a form of comfort. Over time, though, she transformed this challenge into an opportunity for growth. According to Harper's Bazaar, she used her experiences with weight management to write 5 books in partnership with Weight Watchers, aimed at encouraging others on their own health journeys. Through these books, Ferguson channeled her personal challenges into a message of empowerment and support for those facing similar struggles, demonstrating how she turned her past difficulties into a platform for helping others. Sarah Ferguson has long been proud of her role as a mother, often referring to it as the one thing she knows she has done 100% right. In an interview with Harper's Bazaar, she confidently declared, "I'm proud to say I'm the best mom I know," further emphasizing her deep commitment to her daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie. When asked about her brand identity, Ferguson would often reply, "I'm a global mother," highlighting the profound importance of her motherhood role in both her personal life and public persona. Ferguson has been open about how her philanthropic endeavors have shaped her into a better person, especially as a mother. In an article for the Evening Standard, she shared that her charity work has given her a unique sense of perspective, helping her to guide and encourage her daughters to use their platform for good. By modeling charitable giving and service to others, she has instilled in Beatrice and Eugenie a passion for helping others, which has become an integral part of their family dynamic. Not only is Ferguson proud of her co-parenting relationship with her ex-husband, Prince Andrew, but she also views her charitable work as a form of global motherhood. In her most recent philanthropic endeavor, Sarah launched Sarah's Trust, an initiative designed to match wealthy benefactors with charities in need of support. Ferguson expressed her excitement about this venture, saying, "I am incredibly excited to be bringing all of my charitable causes under one roof with Sarah's Trust. It's something I have wanted to do for a long time." Through this trust, Ferguson aims to foster meaningful connections that make a positive impact on communities around the world, while continuing to live out her passion for both motherhood and global philanthropy. What do you think about Sarah Ferguson's remarkable changes? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.